Now, Central Valley Talk celebrates what's good about Fresno and the Valley. If somebody does something good or there's a good business, we want to celebrate them. So our next guest, Santiago Camarena, he wrote a book. It's not easy to write a book.
No, it's a lot harder than I thought it would be. They approached me to do it.
I've known people who've written books, and one thing to write a book, but it's another to finish writing a book, and that's what you did. You finished it.
Yeah, it's a lot of work involved, a lot more than I thought there would be, and but you want it to come out as good as you can, so you put your all into it, and it got. You're always curious to find out how you set as far as along with other people, other authors, and all you could do is just write what you know and you express yourself the way you do.
As you look around here, there's a million books in this room, and mostly about history. And the only way we could save and preserve history is for somebody to write it down.
Exactly.
Research it and write it down. You did both, right?
Yes, that's exactly what I think is very true. No matter whose story it is, it's everybody's history. And this gentleman that I wrote about, he lived in New Mexico. He was born and raised, and he lived a single parent poverty, and just fell into the wrong crowd, and different things happened. First, exposure to law enforcement, incarceration, and then
so the book leads up to how he ended up in prison?
Yes. He talks about the death of his father, how bad he felt. There was no one to turn to for support or anything.
And what's his name?
His name is Vincent Paul Candelaria. This is the book, Voir.
We'll put a slide up of the cover. Now, is he famous, or certain people in certain circles will know his name?
He was well known there in Albuquerque. He was from Albuquerque. The main reason why his story is different from a lot of others is because his story was pretty thoroughly documented from early on in his childhood, and then because of his troubles with the law and different things that happened throughout his life. A lot of his life was documented.
And police reports and stuff like that?
And one of the main things that he was involved in, well, not main things, but a significant thing that he was involved in, that he was in the 1980 Santa Fe prison riot.
Now that's famous.
That is infamous because it today is still one of the most brutal prison riots in America today. Mainly because the people who were killed by the prisoners were killed by other prisoners. This person would still just be another story, but he was a negotiator to help bring the riot to an end, and was credited for saving the lives of 2 prison guards.
There's a whole thing documented here. I mean, a riot. You go through the whole riot and process of his negotiation.
Through his eyes, what he's seen. There's a lot of material on the riot, different books on the riot, but this was his story because he could only tell what he experienced. So it doesn't say nearly all of it at all, but there's a lot of significant points about the riot that he was involved in.
Did you get to talk to him?
Yes, in fact, I moved to New Mexico, and I ended up living over there for 23 years.
And you interviewed him?
Yeah,
he was still. That's a great way to collect history. Go to that primary source like that.
Yeah, I moved from here to over there, and I ended up living over there for 23 years. It was an experience for me. It's like a textbook example of what happens to people, what they experience, how they feel. The reasoning that they feel is why they did the things that they do. And it covers a lot of professional people's, as far as their jobs, like lawyers, counselors, police officers, the political arena who got involved because of the riot. It was a huge stain, and there was a lot of political heads there being involved in trying to resolve the issues that had brought the riot, to its point where it happened.
And a lot of players. There was a lot of
players,
a lot of different backgrounds and different jobs then.
And so,
More
yeah.
than just the people inside the prison rioting, people outside the prison.
Yes, it's and it was mainly human interest because of the treatment of people and the discontent of all the prisoners there, and it's that's part of the reason why this would be something good for a lot of different people, because it covers the when after he got out of the prison, he was accused of a police killing, so it covers 2 murder trials, and it goes through all the steps and stages of the trials and what he experienced with the judges. And the name of the book is Voir, and Voir is the oath that potential jurors are given while they're being selected for jurors of that trial. So he talks about his whole life, and it expresses a lot of different things. This person was well known amongst his peers and guards and police officers, and on both sides of the wall. So he was well known, and
Especially in New Mexico.
in New Mexico.
Now, if somebody, this is fascinating story, it's a fascinating subject, and it's not a horrible, giant book. I mean, you get through this; it's handleable.
Oh, yeah.
Most of us who don't read much could handle this.
Yeah,
And so if somebody's watching and say, "Wow, fascinating! I want to get a hold of this book." Where should they start?
I'm with Top Link Publishing right now. I have a web page out that they put out. It's called VoirDireStory.com.
We have that up on the screen, VoirDireStory.com, and also VoirDireSeekTruth.com.
VoirDireSeekTruth.com is my web page on the book. I have a little presentation that I'm introducing the book as well.
So either of those sites, can they click somewhere and order the book?
Yes, either site that has like a little Amazon key right there where you could click on it, and then it'll take you right to the little window where you'll be able to get it. I believe also if you have the ISBN number that you would be able to go to any bookstore and order it, if that was the way you would like to get it. But for the most part, I believe that going through the web page and then clicking on the Amazon is probably the most simplest.
Well, it's Amazon's simple and it's safe, and most of us are used to doing it so much now that it's, you don't have to worry about, I don't want to put my credit card online. It's safe and it's easy, and I have Amazon Prime, so my stuff arrives the next day or so, free shipping. So
Yeah, I know. But it was a good thing for me as far as writing the book. It was like therapy, and anybody that's probably going down that path of juvenile delinquency, incarceration, the use of drugs, crimes, violence. It would be probably, a good eye opener for them.
it'd be good for some parents to get when their kids are going down this road, and for some kids to get who are going down a certain road, and
Yes.
see where the road is leading.
Yeah.
You're not the first one down that road. Other people have gone down that road.
As I mentioned, I thought it would be good for police officers to get a point of view from an adversarial point of view.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Because of what he thought about their procedures and how they went through the whole process with him, and because of all his experience, that was why he was able to elaborate a lot of different things, and he gave his reasons why, he has spent most of his life in prison or in jail.
And did he die in prison?
Yes, he did. He sadly passed away in 2005. Still under the same charges that he was convicted of, that comes out in the book, and so he didn't get out that time after what it
He was
talks about.
appealing and trying to get out?
He had some lawyers that were trying to get him out. The lawyer that who defended him on the murder trials became very well known and had a lot of business afterwards because of such success. It was 2 murder trials, and they were both hung juries. And so as other than police, but even the procedures that the lawyers go through as far as in investigation, interviewing, and different things. It brings out a lot of issues right there. And
those of us who have not been in the criminal justice system, it kind of exposes what people go through.
yeah, and then it's kind of like there's because there is a police killing there. There is still left a mystery part of it that they never got nobody,
officer, yeah.
and so you could come up with your own scenario of what had happened, and so.
Well, tell me, Santiago, you got another book in you? You thinking about another one?
Yes, as soon as I can, but for right now, I got to be working, so there's not much time for anything else. But I'm really glad that I'm able to come over here and introduce my book.
Yeah,
and
that's great. We have a slide of the book, but let me tell you the web address again. It is Voir. How do you say the word?
Voir Dyer.
Voir Dyer. VOIRDIRE. VourDyerStory.com. That's the publisher, but Santiago's direct web address is Voir Dyer, VOIRDIRE, SeekTruth.com, and some other special things on the website. You do an introduction and a link where you could order it.
I've done some introduction on the book. They've done a couple of samples of the book as far as when they're promoting it. So it gives a lot of good information. I believe that on my web page is probably where you're going to find a more complete information on the book, and it also has the first 2 chapters.
Oh, nice.
If someone cares to read it.
Now, if somebody wants to ask you questions or contact you, is there a spot on the web page?
My email would be fine. I do have a blog on it, but like I say, I've been working so much and that I haven't had that much time to be active on my blog, but I will try to answer any questions if anybody cares.
Well, I've read many a book. When you get done with the book, you just haven't had enough, and you got to let all of it go. And it'd be nice to have a site like that where you keep the story going a little bit and keep talking about it. Yeah. Well, anything else you want our viewers to know?
No, but hopefully I will get on another book soon, and I'm not going to give up on writing. I believe that it's something that's like you said, it's our stories, it's history, it's everybody's history.
Well, I'm glad you took down the history and researched the history and put it in a book and finished writing the book. Well, I appreciate you did that. We have some more guests coming up, so don't go anywhere. Don't touch that mouse. Stick around, and we'll be back with more Central Valley Business right after this.